Getting a little bit of snow today. Nothing's really sticking yet, but it's coming down as snow, not rain. Morning everyone. So we got a little bit of snow last couple of days, and then we woke up to about 15 degrees this morning. It's a bit chilly. But luckily, it's supposed to warm up again this week, get back up into the 40s and 50s. It kind of looks about the same for next week. So I don't think much of the snow is going to last very long. Hopefully not more than a day or so, and we'll be back to some bare ground. Not sure how well the camera picks it up, but you can see the fog rolling off the slough there. So I got a few things I'm trying to get done today, kind of odds and ends type stuff. But first off, I want to run down to Randall's and run across our fence there in those hay fields. Last night my dad and I put up the electric fence on one end, but I just want to go across there and just look over things and probably try to get them cows turned out into there just so they can start eating that down. So then when we get done with that, just like I said, a bit odds and ends, and let's go from there. Come on, cows. Come on. Come on, cows. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey, come on. Come on, cow. Come on. Hey, come on. Hey, cows! Hey, cows! Hey, cows! Hey, cows! So I just brought all these cows into the hay fields here down at Randall's. It's been about 6 days since we weaned the calves, so I just locked them out of those two pastures up there closer to the corrals and have them all down here now in the hay fields. I think they're pretty content now, not so worried about their calves. So we got them in here now. I don't know what they're gonna eat mostly today, but they've got all this regrowth on that three-way that we planted this spring, and we got one crop off of it, and then it grew back, and this is what they're gonna graze off for some fall feed. I'm sure you guys also remember how we were concerned about all this third crop alfalfa that was regrowing out here. You can't really see much of it now, it's buried in snow, but here in the next couple days I'll try to get back down here and show you what it's looking like, because I don't think this snow's gonna last very long. We're gonna let these cows graze this off, and probably a couple more weeks, and we're gonna bring everything back up to our place and get ready to preg check. Morning everyone. So first thing this morning, we're gonna head over here to the Idaho side and bring these cows over into the Quonset, and then try to get them across the road down to these hay fields here so they start grazing this off. The fog's finally starting to burn off a bit, and since we have to bring these cows across the road, we didn't want any fog, you know, affecting visibility for cars and whatnot going by. So I think with here in an hour or so, it'll burn off enough that we'll bring these cows across and go about the rest of our day. Come on, cows! Come on, cows! Up, yep. So I just pushed the cows up and past the slough pasture and down into the hay fields. They can come back into the slough pasture, but I wanted to push them down here a bit further, then they can meander on where they want to. Here in a couple weeks we'll have to bring everything in and preg check. And we've actually got the herd split in two right now. So we got about half of the cows up here at our place and the other half are down there at Randall's. I just ran down here to the river pasture to turn on this electric fence charger here. I was down here a couple days ago just going over the fences, just double checking things. I'm glad I did, because this fence line, this electric fence was down along this along the river here, so I had to put that back up, and I just shut the charger off to let it charge for a few days before I turned it back on. You know what's funny? So I'm just coming back up from the river from checking that electric fence. You can tell how foggy it is down here on the river bottom. I'm starting to clear up here. But these cows that we just brought down here, there's still a few scattered out here in the grass field and hay field here. But I bet the majority of them are right over here, all bunched up in this little spot in the field. And what that spot is the place where we plowed up a little bit of ground that we sunk a fertilizer spreader in. And we planted that three-way, or I think it was a four-way mix down here this spring there, and all that stuff regrew. So you can tell how much them cows prefer that four-way when it comes to grazing, and even when it comes to feeding, they sure seem to like the stuff. Just a reminder on what that four-way mix is. It's just a beardless barley, oats, wheat, and peas, and we plant it and cut it for hay, and that's what they're all up there eating on. You can see it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's just because they prefer it or if it's just the tallest thing down here, but I do know they like it. Kind of goes to show here. Hunt cows! Come on, cows. Come on, cows. Come on. Come on. Come on, cows. Hey, hun. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, cows. Come on, cows. Come on. Come on, cows. Hun. So I stand these blocks up under the axles of these balers, just to try to prevent if these tires happen to leak out over the winter, just to prevent the baler from settling on a flat tire and cracking the tire and putting a crease in it. With these blocks being under here, if the tires do deflate over the winter, the baler will settle on the blocks and all the weight of the baler will be on the blocks instead of a flattened tire. It'll make it a lot easier for us too if we have to come in here and do some tire work in the spring, because it'll be 7 or 8 months before we even think about looking at these balers again. So I've got this disc hooked up to this Case tractor, and if you guys have been following the channel for a little while, you might recognize these discs. So earlier this summer, I think about summertime, I bought that older Alice Chalmers tractor from a place just up the road from us, and the discs came with it. I wasn't really interested in the disc because we've already got a set of discs here of our own, but these are quite a bit bigger. These are 16 feet, I believe. I don't know how wide this one is, maybe 10 feet from the looks of it. But they weren't adding any value to the discs. Like if I didn't want the discs, then they weren't going to take any price off the tractor, because if I wasn't going to take them, they're just going to scrap the discs. So well, I figured I'd just take them and we'd find a use for them. And like I said, they're a bit bigger than ours, so we'll see how they work. So I just dropped it in the ground a little bit there and did about 30 feet just to see how they worked. And what I'm going to do is, we've got these tractor weights on this other disc just to try to give it a bit more weight and push it into the ground more. So I'm just going to transfer all eight of these weights onto this disc, and hopefully that'll give more weight to push itself in the ground a bit. And we'll go over here to the fuel tanks, fuel up, check the tires, and go down to Randall's, because that's where we're going to go disc at. If you guys remember, we have about 25 acres of three-way that we planted down there. So we're gonna disc that up and see what else we can get done. I can't tell you for sure what each of these weights weigh, but I'd imagine they're 60-70 pounds a piece, I would guess. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna hook them on that angle iron along the frame there. Tractor weights work perfectly for setting on there. I might play around with the placement of them once we get going. I think for now, getting down the road, we'll leave them there and see how it works. It's still a little muddy. There's still a fair amount of residue left, and the cows haven't quite eaten it all the way off. And you can see how I balled up going through there. So I'm gonna have to dig this all out, and I'm gonna take these weights off just to see if it makes it a little bit less aggressive. Maybe play with the angle of the disc here a bit. Try it once more and we'll see what it does. Attempt number 2. If this doesn't work, we'll either have to wait or until things dry out a bit more, which I don't think they will, because we got more storms coming here in a few days, or we'll have to figure out something different. Well, we decided we're just going to have to wait. There's too much residue left out there from that 3-way. It would have been nice to have these cows in here for a couple extra weeks to have them eat it off. But if you remember, I don't know, it's been a couple videos ago, we were just worried about the cows coming out here and grazing this third growth alfalfa and bloating. So we were a little bit hesitant to turn them out here too soon. So we're just have to wait, let them graze it off a bit more, and maybe things will dry out a bit, and we'll be able to come back here and see if we can't disc that up a little bit better. I think if we just keep going, we're gonna have a mess. My dad came down and looked at everything too, and that's what he thought also, was that was gonna be a mess if we just kept going. So we just cleaned out the discs and got all the mud and 3-way that was wrapped up in there, cleaned up the best we could. My GoPro camera's died. Not sure how much of that last clip it got. So this is gonna be a pretty good spot in this video. So we're just in a waiting game now to see if we can get this ground disked up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.